Well, as Atlanta gets ready to welcome tons, hundreds of thousands really, of visitors for the World Cup from around the world this summer, one thing some people may underestimate is the heat here in North Georgia. Joining us now is Dr. Roxana Chicas from Emory University's School of Nursing. You know, she specializes in occupational heat exposure, the perfect person to talk to for all this. Doctor, it's great to have you on the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you and Georgia Tech actually studied this recently, looking at dehydration in Emory soccer players. What did you find?
Yes, we along with Georgia Tech are developing a bio patch where we are wanting to be able to predict before players have dehydration or heat exhaustion, heat stroke. And so what we found was that soccer players, even when they're training, which is like 2 hours, are dehydrated. They're showing signs of kidney injury and heat-related illness. And so that is what prompted us to want to develop this bio patch to protect soccer players and outdoor workers when they're working out in the heat.
Um, this was a springtime study, by the way. What did you find that the heat did to the players in spring, and what does that mean it could do to the human body in like a June or July here in Georgia?
Right. So, we monitor these players in March and then again in April, where temperatures are pretty nice, right? So they're pretty cool in the high 60s. And what we found was that 10% of them, the first time we saw them in March, showed signs of kidney dysfunction. They were dehydrated. And then by April, when we monitored a second time, which temperatures were starting to rise a little bit, 24% of them had signs of renal dysfunction and even more dehydrated. So, which leads us to believe that in the summer, in the peak summer, this is probably going to be even a bigger problem. And we've seen this with farm workers and outdoor workers already.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of people are at risk? You know, it goes beyond soccer players. Obviously, there's the folks who have jobs; they have to be outside. But then, World Cup specifically, all these visitors who are going to be hanging around outside for some of these games are at noon, and these fan fests are out there in the middle of a field.
Right. So, who's at risk? Well, we know children are at risk, older adults are at risk. But if you're outside, and I'm thinking of all of these people who are going to come into these to watch these games, they may not realize how humid it is
Hmm.
in Atlanta. And they may underestimate that. And so, when it is very humid and hot, we tend to be more dehydrated. It's harder for our bodies to cool down. And so, if you're outside in the middle of concrete tailgating, or if you are inside a stadium watching a game, you may get heat-related illness if you're not hydrating enough and cooling down.
Okay, when it comes to hydration, what should we be doing? And I've always wondered, are sports drinks just as good as water?
Sports drinks are good. I think water is better, but it definitely, if you're outdoors sweating and you're engaged in physical activity, having a sports drink is good, preferably one that's low in sugar.
Hmm.
I want to remind people, though, that alcohol is not a sports drink. And it's very important that when you are drinking alcohol, which many people will do to enjoy these, because it feels good to drink a cold beer, right? That you're also hydrating with water.
Okay, have a light beer, then have the bottle of water. Alternate.
Yes,
Take your time. Pace
exactly.
yourself. It's a long day out there. Um,
Exactly.
these heat-related illnesses, can it lead to long-term impacts on your body, or is it mostly something that you suffer from here and there, here and now, rather?
Yeah. So what we are finding, what studies are telling us, that there are long-term consequences. And one of the big things that we are finding is renal dysfunction, where outdoor workers are having multiple episodes of the subclinical renal dysfunction injuries that are leading to chronic kidney disease. And this is associated with chronic dehydration, intense physical labor in high temperatures.
Okay. Anything else you want folks to know today about staying safe in the heat or about your study?
Well, I want folks to know to listen to their body. Our body usually gives us signs of when we need to cool down and hydrate. So if you start feeling some muscle cramps, dizziness, headache, listen to your body. Take a break, cool down, have some fluids. and and then go back to whatever it is that you're doing, because the last thing we want is someone to come to the World Cup here in Atlanta and remember it for having gone to the ER because of heat related illness. So, be safe out there and drink lots of water.
We'll leave it there. Great advice. Dr. Chicas, thank you for sharing some insights from your study. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.